Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem, a postmortem of my Blitz game number 395. I was white here, kicked off with e4, and my opponent played e5, allowing me to play the famous King's Gambit, which I did some videos on recently, so I felt I should play it. So he takes the pawn, which is good. We get the King's Gambit accepted. And now he continues with d6, the Fischer defense. You can see it's not the most popular defense here. Probably g5, the main line, is the way to play it if you want to play for an advantage, but it's very tricky. d5 is also an interesting move here, getting into a line similar to the Falkbeer counter gambit. But d6, the Fischer defense, cancel that. Just keeping the knight out of this square. I developed the bishop. It looks like d4, the pawn move, is slightly more popular. If we take a look at that, pawn to d4, and see what the main moves are here. Then g5, defending, and h4. Okay, well, this would transpose back into the main line if you played that way. So I keep it in different lines by playing bishop c4, and this is the idea. h6 is the move here that Bobby recommended. So you control both of these squares, so the knight can't hop in and increase the pressure on f7, which is a soft point in this opening, the f7 square. So bishop e7 is another way of controlling it, and I just castle, and after knight f6, we're pretty much out of the opening book. So let's just take a look at the game. I could play d3 here to defend the pawn, or knight c3. I chose knight c3 because I plan to play d4 in one move. He goes c6, showing up the center, and I go d4. And now with this next move, he plays knight bd7, just letting me get the pawn back. And after I get the pawn back, I have the advantages of the King's Gambit without any of the disadvantages. I have the open f-file for an attack. I have control of the center. And I have my pieces all in good squares. So this is very good for white. So if we back up, you know, in addition to playing the h6 move instead of where he developed the bishop, I think. Bishop e7, yeah, it was still playable at that point. I think, yeah, knight bd7 is a bit of a weak move here. Knight takes e4 is recommended, which is interesting. Didn't realize he could take this pawn, but sometimes this you can get away with this. Yeah, it's a typical typical center fork trick. If I take back, he can play d5, and maybe he gets out of his troubles this way. So that would have been the way for black to stay in the game. After this, knight bd7, and I get the pawn back. I really have a winning advantage. Although you know, it's not an immediate win here. It's just very difficult for black to defend. He castles. I go e5. Kicking the knight right away. It's interesting, the chess engine prefers to just maintain this hold on the center and continue developing the pieces. Queen e2, maybe repositioning the bishop. But e5 is not a bad move. Forces some exchanges here and chases the knight away from defense, which is key. And he throws in this check, which is all right. In fact, that actually helped me a little bit, because this knight, after he goes knight to g4, I mean, he's got ideas for the counterattack. But I can defend with queen e2 or queen d3. I played queen e2. And that's funny that queen d3 is a move. Queen d3 seems to be walking right into a fork, doesn't it? Just notice that here. Let's put that on the board. Queen d3. What is the idea here? Suppose he plays knight there, check. Rook takes. Bishop takes. Yeah, he just wins the exchange, but then there's a killer attack with knight g5. Okay, well, that's the chess engine for you. A simpler way to play is this queen e2, defending, and now he's this move knight to f2 check is not on. I'll just take it and win 2 pieces for a rook. So he plays rook e8, and I went h3 here, which is my plan. I wanted to play h3 to kick the knight, but already there's a tactic on f7. So I'll go ahead and show it now. It stays here for a while, and I don't take advantage of it. But the idea is this. I can take here, and if he takes back, which you see is not the best move, but if he takes back, he gets in huge trouble. Start with the knight check. You need to clear this f-file with tempo, and already the chess engine is suggesting that black has to sacrifice the queen. Queen takes g5 in order to survive this attack. And what happens, for example, if the king just drops back here, you have queen c4 check, and this leads to a mate. This is a forced mate. And I guess if you can imagine this position in your head, you can see all these pieces are converging. There's no way the king is going to escape this crossfire of all white's pieces. Let's see, if we ignore moves like rook e6, queen takes e6, this just delays things a little bit. If the king moves immediately, going to h8 to get out of the discovered check here, then knight f7 check, you get the typical Philidor mate. Always something to be aware of. Happens surprisingly often. Queen g8 check, also called a smothered mate. And the king can't take it because the knight protects the queen. And then the knight hops down here and delivers the mate. So very nice tactics there, all over the board, and the kind of thing you often get in the King's Gambit. It's why it's so fun to play. Anyway, I had already this plan of h3, and you see this is the good move. It was like, is also a good move. Just wasn't the best or quickest way to finish the game. So his knight has to drop back and cancel that. He went to f6. Right, and now I come forward with the knight, increasing the pressure on f7. Goes rook e7 to defend, and I go queen f3, lining up on the f-file. So all very straightforward. There were opportunities along the way also just to sack on f7 still. He went knight d5, trying to block this diagonal, and now I can just take this off. He can't really hold it, and I'm starting to go up material. Now I'm a pawn up at this point, as well as maintaining this terrific attack. And knight takes e5 he played here, hitting my queen. And bishop takes e5, rook takes e5, and right here I make that take with the wrong piece. So this is very instructive. I guess I wasn't in tune with this smothered mate idea, but I think that's the thing that happens here as well. I come in with the queen. The king is forced to the corner. Yeah, the smothered mate does not work here. If I go here, queen check, queen takes, the queen is guarding the knight square here. So so I have to be a little bit careful. Rook a, e1. But you can see it's just winning. Rook takes, rook takes. There's this mate threat hanging over my opponent's head, and his pieces are all over on the wrong side of the board. Let's see how the chess engine wants to defend. Bishop g4. Bishop g4, just giving up a piece. Is there anything else? Bishop e6, trying to interfere with that. If we play a normal move like bishop d7, just trying to clear the back rank, then queen h5, piling up on h7. And now if he plays h6, let's see, there's a mate in mate in 9, starting with knight f7. Okay, so this was not so obvious, I have to say. That's quite a long sequence. But in this position, it's clear that queen takes f7 is stronger than bishop takes f7, which I played. Although this is still winning. So, and the other line was, I think, too long to calculate in a blitz game. If you have a slow game, you might try to calculate that out to a mate. But anyway, the king ran to h8, best square, staying off of f8 and any discoveries. And now I went knight e4, which is actually a mistake. I need to follow up precisely here to keep the to keep this kind of advantage. After knight e4, you see the advantage drops from about +3 to +1, and really black is in the game. So I was just trying to reposition my knight here and come in for actually I'm not sure. I don't remember what the idea with knight e4 was. I am hitting the bishop, which is one of the defenders, but that's not so important here. So let's take a look at the computer line again. Bishop e8. Well, also this is also hard to see. Queen takes, because you're sacking a piece, but you get the knight here. Check. King g8 is the only move. Pick up the rook. So you didn't really sacrifice the bishop. You traded it for a rook, and queen can't take the knight because of checkmate. Yeah, it'll be queen takes here. You check first on f7, then you check on f8. The bishop takes, and then the rook comes to f8 to deliver the mate. So you can't take the knight. So queen e7 is the move. And then let's count the material. I have 2 rooks and a knight versus a rook and 2 bishops. Yeah, so I'm material up and I'm still attacking. So that's a good way to play it. So anyway, knight e4. I guess I was trying to chase the bishop away or something. He plays rook f5. Yeah, I guess I missed this move. It's supported by the bishop there, and it's chasing my queen away. I go to c3, looking at the g-pawn here and also hitting the bishop. And he trades out on f1 and plays bishop to e7, getting the bishop out of take. So I still have some edge here. There is a moment in this game where he comes back into it. Okay, so it's knight g3. So my knight maneuvers are not working out here. What's the move here? Bishop b3, retreating the bishop. Okay, opening up some squares here for other pieces to occupy. Or queen to e5, centralizing the queen. Okay, you know, it's not an immediately clear plan. So anyway, knight g3 though is not the best. I guess it just hasn't got a direct object here. So he can develop another piece, get his pieces off the back rank. His queen and his rook are now coordinating to defend the back rank. I go with knight h5. This was the idea, you know, going after that g-pawn. He can defend with bishop f8. And so he's sort of hanging on here. Now I drop the bishop back to b3. And he plays bishop to b5, hitting my rook. I go rook e1. Yeah, rook f5 is a little better. Queen to h4. So his pieces start getting active. I go queen e5, centralizing. So these were queen e5 and bishop b3 were moves that were suggested by the chess engine a bit earlier. I guess I played them in the wrong sequence. So now, right here, he actually has a chance to get the advantage. He's got pressure here, and if he plays the move bishop to c6, it pins the... not there. Bishop to c6 would pin this g-pawn, and he'd be just threatening to take on h6. So that's bishop c6 is a strong threat. He played h6 instead, trying to give his king a little bit of escape. Understandable move. I go rook e4 now, hitting his queen, and he goes rook e8, hitting my queen. So this is the final mistake. And I notice that I can just step aside with the queen, so I maintain the attack on his queen, and I introduce this new threat, which is a checkmate on the back rank. And so that's the final winning tactic, which I did spot. He tried bishop to d6. And yeah, now I have a mate in 3, starting with taking the rook, because there's no piece that can take back that will also defend the back rank. So his only try to last for another move is to go king h7. But that leads, just to show that leads to a checkmate as well with queen f5 check. Yeah, the king has nowhere to go. g6, and then the queen comes here with mate. So it's mate one way or another. He took back with the bishop, and I was so surprised for this. I think he resigned before I remembered that, oh yes, I have the checkmate threat. Because I was just expecting him to play king h7, and I was still thinking about how to finish it off at that point. And so I was still sitting here thinking about what's the next move, and he resigned. He saw the mate. So that's how the game ended. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.